Pretty much every brand these days makes some sort of soulless crossover that they claim has a sporty, fun vibe to it. Dodge is actually telling the truth though. Dodge says this vehicle has best-in-class power, and they certainly aren't lying. There's a hybrid version that's going to get you 288 horsepower and 383 pound-feet of torque and 30 miles of all-electric range. Here on this GT model, we have a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder that's going to be giving us 268 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. And for a vehicle this size, it's got some go. Let's take a look at the exterior of the Hornet. We have the classic mail slot grille and these heat extractors. That's how you know this is a real Dodge sports product, and it's going to set you apart from those CR-Vs and RAV4s that you see around town. We even get an illuminated Dodge Rhombi. Today I learned this thing is called a Rhombi.
Hey guys, Jake here. I don't know how I didn't realize this. Apparently rhombi or rhombi, I'm not quite sure. It's just the plural of rhombus. So there you go. You got a little geometry lesson today.
Now Dodge is known for raw power, but this car has some handling chops too. It is based on the Alfa Romeo Tonale. We're getting Koni shocks. In addition, we have 4-piston Brembo brakes, and all units are going to have torque vectoring all-wheel drive. We're going to see how that handles on the road. We have 17-inch wheels here. Go up a trim, you're going to get those 18-inch wheels. Now let's actually talk cargo space. If we open the trunk right here, we will find 22.9 cubic feet of space behind the rear seats. There is a ski pass-through as well here, which is super useful. Dodge says if you put down the seats, you'll get 27 cubic feet of space. I actually think it looks a little bit more than that. I'll have to put some text here if that was correct. Now, the interior is where Dodge really stepped up their game. We have some great materials here. The red stitching, the red perforation on the seats is absolutely wonderful to see. Some of the quality in here isn't top-notch. I don't like how the shifter feels one bit, and this center console thing just wiggles around way too much. Those are very high touch point areas. They should be built with a little better quality in my opinion, but pretty much everything outside of that is magnitudes better than what Dodge has been putting out in the past. And I think this interior is just really visually interesting, and for the most part feels pretty good to the touch. Here in the rear we have enough legroom to fit 4 adults in the vehicle total. That is pretty good to see. We do have 2 cup holders here and a nice little armrest. We have air vents and we have USB ports back here. One thing that would be nice to see is some sort of sunroof or something to let some more light in. This interior does feel pretty dark. Now it's time to see how the most powerful CUV drives. Now actually, I'm being followed by the Volvo C40, which isn't quite a competitor to this since it's all electric. I hate the turn signals on this. Dodge, why? Why did you make the weird, they have the weird turn signal stock. It doesn't stay down when you press it. It comes right back to the original position. I don't know how to describe it, but I hate it. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, which is terrible because otherwise this car is actually kind of good. Not just kind of good, it's really good. Now look, I was really skeptical about this thing, right? And I have the right to be skeptical about it because most automakers, when they try to put out some new CUV sporty thing, it hasn't been very good, right? I'm thinking back to whatever Mitsubishi, the Eclipse, whatever. When they brought back the Eclipse as an SUV, I drove it, it was terrible. But this car is completely different. I mean, it's its own thing, and it just says, yeah, I'm a CUV with some sporty tuning, and you can have a little bit of fun while driving, nothing too crazy, and you can also take your friends out. You can go do whatever you do with your CUV, because you know what? As much as us car guys don't want to admit it, this is a really good form factor for most people, especially those living in cities and whatnot, and want the height, that want the volume of an SUV, but don't have a large place to park. And you know what? The steering on this thing's tight. There's an accessible sport button. When you hit it, it says driver systems off, and it just says, go have fun. And this, I can't get over how tight the steering feels on this thing. I mean, it's actually precise. It's actually more precise than anything I think I've driven from Dodge. And that's not much, right? I've really only driven like their trucks, but this is actually just kind of a fun time to drive. And you know, I don't want you thinking you're gonna get a sports car experience out of this. This isn't a sports car that you can, something that you take to the track that you can do your groceries with or wherever. You're gonna have to pay a lot more for something like that. Remember, you can get into a GT for under $30,000, but this is a grocery getter that's just fun. It knows what it is, and it's fun. And I hope I get to drive one soon. I actually was, so I need to get back to the skeptical thing. I was skeptical of this, and I saw it at the DC Auto Show, and I really liked it. And now that I get to drive it, I really like it even more. So I look forward to driving more of these Hornets, and I definitely want to drive that hybrid version. Guys, thanks so much for watching our coverage of the WAPA Press Day rally. We're gonna have more coming at you. This is drive number 2 for me today. I just finished driving the Alfa Romeo Giulia. We're gonna see what is available in the lot next. I'm looking at the Mercedes EQE 500 is right in front of me. Might have to go jump in that. Keep an eye out for that video. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll see you. Take care.